Guys, look, we're just gonna get right into this. Spoiler free, at least for a segment of the video. There's gonna be a spoiler segment, but you can skip over that because of the YouTube chapter things. But we're gonna get right into this. Spider-Man No Way Home. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell and leave a comment, or I'll shoot spider webs at your face. Sorry, I can't think of anything. I just want to talk about this movie. So basically, the hype for this movie has been real. Like, this is definitely the most hype a movie has had since The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, but so basically this is the sequel to Far From Home, where at the end of that, you know, Mysterio reveals Spider-Man's identity, and now, yeah, Spider-Man is screwed, you know? But yeah, I was a little worried about, like, I was really excited for this movie. Maybe it's just because of the hype around it in general, or maybe it's just because I'm a big Spider-Man fan. He's probably my top 3 favorite superheroes, but I was super hyped, but also really worried because, you know, like, most of the hype around this movie were based on rumors. That was one thing that really worried me, and I'm not going to talk about the rumors, by the way, okay? Also, the setup seemed a little weird from the trailers, like, hey, I want everyone to stop talking about me. Doctor Strange, can you please grant my wish? Sure thing, Peter. Oh no, look what happened. That's sort of what the setup seemed from the trailers. I just want to say, the setup was really nice. It was fine in the movie. I've heard some criticism towards the setup in the movie, but I didn't have much of a problem with it, you know. Without getting into spoilers, like, it seemed that Doctor Strange was a little more reluctant to actually cast a spell at first than the trailers sort of made it seem, if you know what I mean. But let's not kid ourselves. This movie is a crowd pleaser. This movie is a love letter to every Spider-Man movie, and, you know, basically, it's a fun movie all around with heavy emotion. I heard this movie was very emotional from some early reviews, but even with that, I did not expect this movie to have as much emotion and to pack as much of a punch as it did. Holy shit. There are some moments in this movie that I could not believe. And also, I'm just gonna say this is the best MCU Spider-Man movie, and it's not even close. It's not even close. I really like Homecoming. I really like Far From Home, but it's not even close. It really isn't. And I guess part of that is, like, I love the first two, but we haven't really gotten a Spider-Man movie in the MCU where we got to see Spider-Man just be Spider-Man, where, you know, they always tied the MCU into it, you know. But this time, in this movie, this felt the most like a Spider-Man story. Maybe it was because all the villains were there, and yeah, but regardless, it still felt like a Spider-Man story. And that was nice. I also want to talk about the villains. This isn't a spoiler because they were in the trailers, you know, Doc Ock, Electro, Green Goblin, the Lizard, and Sandman were all in the trailers. And they all served a purpose. They were there for fan service, sure, absolutely, but, like, it was fan service that had a purpose. They weren't just here being like, hey, yo, what's up? Okay, bye. It wasn't like that. They were in this movie, and they had a purpose, you know. They were basically the villains of this movie in a way. Obviously, like, it was more, we got to see more of Doc Ock and Electro and Green Goblin, and Lizard and Sandman were sort of just, they sort of just seemed there. It sort of just seemed like they were there for, you know, the third act, for the final battle. But regardless, it was so nice. It was so cool. And again, they felt earned. This fan service felt earned. It felt natural too. It felt like they were there because of this spell that goes wrong. it didn't feel like they were there because of fan service, although they were. It felt like they had a narrative reason to be there. And that was one thing I was worried about, that wouldn't be the case, but it was, and it made for a pleasant viewing. The movie's 2.5 hours long, and I don't think the movie doesn't waste a second. The movie was very fast paced, the movie does not, you don't feel a minute of the 2.5 hours. The movie starts with a bunch of crazy stuff going on and ends. Dude, that ending was so nice. Oh my god. That ending was so good. And the chemistry between everyone, especially the chemistry between Tom Holland and Zendaya and Jacob Batalon, I think his name is. They have such great chemistry on screen. It probably doesn't help that they are apparently best friends, and Tom Holland and Zendaya are even dating behind the scenes. So that probably helps, but it still helps the movie. They have great chemistry on screen, and even they all have good chemistry with Doctor Strange. They all have good chemistry, even with the villains. I thought it was just a pleasant watch, a real crowd pleaser, and I'm about to go into some spoilers. You can skip ahead. 3, 2, 1. That was terrible. They did it! They actually did it. Toby and Andrew were in this movie. I was worried they were not going to be in this. I mean, it was quite, we all kind of knew they were going to be in it, but, there's no hard confirmation or anything that they weren't. And it's it was still so, pleasant to see them. It was such a crowd-pleasing moment, And they didn't it didn't feel like they were thrown in there. It really didn't. They were rightfully in there. They were in the movie, right? Because it didn't feel, I don't know how to say this. It felt earned. It felt right. It felt natural, And the final battle where where Tom Holland Spider-Man teams up with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, they all, that gave me fucking chills, bro. And another thing I want to talk about is Aunt May's death. I did not expect that. I thought about that once, what if Aunt May dies in this movie? I didn't really think that would happen, but once they were in that area where that explosion was, or the building was destroyed, I'm oh no, Aunt May's not surviving. And bro, the moment where she died, that was a big moment, that was part of the emotion, Bro, there's so much to talk about. I can't talk about all of it in this video, which is why I'm actually going to be doing a spoiler discussion with some other people, an episode of my podcast, it'll probably be up Monday, so yeah, stay tuned for that. But yeah, in the end, you're back. Not gonna spoil anything now, but in the end, Spider-Man No Way Home is an absolute love letter. If you're hyped for this movie, you're gonna get what you came here for. This movie delivers on everything. Alright? The big Spider-Man fan, I never was distracted. I was never, checking the time. Even when, even though there's literally, the theater had to pause the movie because some weird technical error was going on, I didn't give a shit. I wanted to keep watching. That didn't take away. That didn't really pull me out. It was such a nice experience with some huge heart, some big emotions. It was fantastic. In the end, I give Spider-Man No Way Home a 9.5 out of 10. But ask me in a little bit. I'm definitely going to see this movie again. Ask me in a little bit. Maybe it's a 10. Maybe it's less than a 9.5. I don't know. But that was my review for Spider-Man No Way Home. What do you guys think about this movie? Did you see this movie? Did you not see this movie? If you have seen this movie, do you like it? Do you not like it? Or if you haven't seen this movie, do you want to see it? Do you not want to see it? If you guys, I did talk about spoilers in this video, but they were chaptered off. So if you go into the comments and actually spoil stuff, I'm gonna block you from this channel. All right, so don't spoil anything. Okay. Anyways, be sure to like this video, come subscribe, or I will tie you up with webs. I am Spider-Man. I don't know if you knew that, but I am Spider-Man. So yeah. Bye, guys.